Hey, IPT here for another session of IPT2. And on this one, I wanted to just go over a few of the kind of big topics that have been out there recently that people might have missed, especially when you think about how busy you are as a professional. Some things literally do just get missed, and that's why I'm here to kind of give you a heads up on some of them. So, first thing, Gymbox. They are a big brand if you've never heard of them. They are trying to break new ground with the launch of a mental health program. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys out there will be working with some kind of clients that need some mental health support. Now, Gymbox has said we're going to do a series of classes dedicated to improving mental health. So they are doing a class called Weightlifted, which is a 30 to 45-minute session where they do trauma release exercises and shaking therapy and breathing and movement to deliver what they call the freedom from the pressures of life. Now, not to belittle that, because that might work for some people, but in the gym environment, that doesn't really seem like it's going to help people's mental health. Yeah, it might make them feel a little bit better, but it's not dealing with any root causes. Let's look at what else they have. Catch Some Z's. It's designed for members who don't get a good night's sleep and has been built around the military method. Now, really, when you try to regulate sleep, it is really about habits. And again, not blowing my own trumpet here, but I've done a couple of courses on sleep. It doesn't make me a sleep expert by any means, but my sleep is usually okay. And it's all because I've got my way of going to sleep at night. I've got my routine. When you get that routine, that's great. If you struggle, there are things you can do to create better routines. There are things you can do to create better systems to help yourself get to sleep. But going to a gym and trying to sleep in a class, that's that again. Even though they're talking about doing breath work and progressive muscle relaxation, that's something that you can learn yourself. You know, you don't need to go to a class for that. And again, certainly, I don't sleep with 20 other people around me. I don't get any kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't feel any less tense around 20 other people. So again, I don't see how that's going to work. But good on them for trying. They are trying something very new. Let's not belittle it. Let's see if it actually works. But for me, this is just a gimmick that instead of actually trying to help people, they've just went down the road of, do you know what, we are going to jump on the bandwagon of mental health. Now, if you're a personal trainer or even studying to become a personal trainer, you might be interested in mental health as well. There are plenty of courses you can do out there, including the Active IQ Level 2 in mental health. There is the NHS mental health or like certification you can do. There is plenty of other things out there as well. But you need to find out what's going to be actually useful for your clients and the people you deal with. If you find you have a lot of clients who come to you with very personal problems, you may have to look into doing other courses out with just a mental health general kind of course, because mental health in itself, you're trying to be the positive support. You're trying to be the person who helps them with the habits that make things better. So you're probably already doing a lot to support the mental health of somebody, even if you don't know they have mental health issues. And you are not a mental health practitioner, so by all means, if they do have something more serious, send them to a GP, send them to the proper professionals. So that for me was a little bit of news that I was dubious of. Looking into the next part, this one really grinded my gears. Mark Zuckerberg has linked up with Les Mills to create a body combat mixed reality meta quest thing. And I call it a thing because it's stupid. Now, if we all imagine back to when we got a Wii, or your friends had a Wii, or it was the big thing, yes, it increased some people's activity level, but it was a gimmick. You know, like they wanted you to buy a game system. Mark Zuckerberg wants you to buy his MetaQuest headset. Les Mills wants you to buy their product. A mixed reality version of body combat is not what you need. What you need is an engaging body combat class, or an engaging combat class, or to even better, go to your local martial arts instructor and go to one of their classes. A lot of these instructors will give you your first session for free just to let you try it out, see if it's right for you. You know, and yeah, you might not be the most aggressive person in the world, and you don't need to be to learn martial arts, because it's not about being able to punch somebody. It's about being able to actually not punch somebody, to be able to actually hold back, to be able to use it as self-defense only. Body combat obviously is fitness, but anything you're going to do where it actually requires you to go and punch an object, be it the pads, going out there and actually expending energy properly. Because again, when we do things at home, a lot of people don't put their entire effort in, so that really diminishes the returns they can get. And especially if it's always there, you can just be like, well, I'll just stick my headset on and I'll do a little bit of a workout. It doesn't work like that. We need to be able to be social animals as well. So actually getting into classes, and even better, working with a personal trainer, you know, who can actually put emphasis on stuff. If they know how to do stuff properly, they will give you one of the best workouts ever with pad work. But there we are. We are now at the point where there is a virtual reality version of body combat that's coming out. That is just insanity to me, and I really hope it isn't something that catches on. It's great that we've got technology, it's great that these things are coming out, but again, it's something that actually diminishes going to the gym. And Les Mills, they are not what they used to be, and teaming up with MetaQuest to do this, that to me just shows that they are now just about the money more than anything else. But, you know, don't take away from the instructors who actually do the classes. It's the corporation itself that's now like that. These instructors out there who do Les Mills classes, there is nothing wrong with them. A lot of the time, they are one of the positives for these kind of things. So, yeah. And another big thing I saw that again, and this really has been a little bit of a rant and a rave more than anything else. The UK government is spending its lowest amount on physical activity. It's spending the lowest amount in Europe. Why are we suddenly at the bottom of investing in physical activity? So this is a report that was published by the Sport and Recreation Alliance, or the SRA, and it shows that UK spends the smallest proportion of general government expenditure on recreation and sport of all of the European nations. It currently ranks joint 11th out of the 15 comparable European nations for levels of physical activity. So that's just physical activity. That's not the money that they're spending. We're 11th out of 15. What happened to our nation? The publication has coincided with other papers that are calling for people to pledge to establish more activity in the nation. Currently, the pledge highlights that the community, sport, recreation and physical activity currently saves the NHS $9.5 billion every year by preventing illness and generates $85 billion annually in economic value. Now, if you imagine from a personal trainer's point of view, we are asking people to pay us money so that we can actually keep them healthier for longer. A lot of the time they don't realise that's what they're actually asking of us. And that's why we call exercise a prescription. We are prescribing to the rest of the UK, the rest of our clients, exercises that have the potential to actually increase the longevity of a person's life. That's amazing. And again, this is why I've always said that personal trainers are at the forefront of preventative care. They are stopping people going to the hospitals. And the once, and I really, really wish I was working in Parliament, because I would be lobbying a lot for this to actually have a regulated personal training industry, to have all the good points of having regulation, to actually make sure that we are once again at the front of the pile, because that's going to make sure that our country is more productive, less sick days, more people happier. People are happy when they're working out and they keep consistency with it. They're happier when they feel healthy. They're not happy when they're feeding themselves with horrible food. They're not happy when they feel like crap all the time and get bad sleep. We really need to look at this. And again, this is one of the things that the CEO of UK Active, Hugh Edwards, has said. There's a collective determination across the sport, recreation and physical activity sectors to ensure its full potential is unlocked in order to make urgent improvements to our national health and well-being. As we enter the countdown to the next general election, we want each of the main political parties to meet the ambition and commit to this pledge. The pledge is the first step in recognising the impact of physical activity on our health and well-being, and in turn the productivity of this country. Now, all they're asking is that they get a little bit more money pumped into the fitness sector. Now, when you consider there's lots of money that they are spending elsewhere on stuff they don't need, and I won't go there, I won't make this a political podcast, it just shows that there is such a discrepancy with trying to actually keep us healthy. It's so bad. Now, I'm going to cover one more negative article, and then we'll look at some of the kind of more positive ones. So the last negative article is the World Health Organization's report on high blood pressure and its devastating impact. It calls for physical activity to be used as a prevention. So if you don't know, the World Health Organization, or the WHO, not everybody trusts them at the moment due to the pandemic, and I get that. But when they say that they have a report that a devastating global impact of high blood pressure is something that's happening, I can believe that. The reason I can believe that is because I recently had my blood pressure done and it was quite high. But they've done a global report on hypertension, and They called it the race against a silent killer. And believe it or not, high blood pressure is usually associated with people losing their lives. But despite being a common problem, only 4 out of 5 people with hypertension get treated for it, which is ridiculous. So if we think about the kind of premature deaths across the world, that if people were actually getting checked, and remember, this is something a personal trainer can do. We can check a person's blood pressure very easily and advise them to go to a GP if it's high. The WHO estimates that if all countries around the world could scale up a little bit, they would save 76 million premature deaths between 2023 and 2050. So that's not just in a year. That is obviously over a couple of decades and even then some. So about 27 years. So in the next 27 years, we can save roughly 76 million people from premature death if we just take a little bit more care in doing blood pressure. And this is why blood pressure is something I always advocate is done on your reviews, in your initial consultation. It's there. Don't feel that you can't do it just because you're not a doctor. Don't feel you can't do it because you're maybe a bit apprehensive about using the equipment. Use the equipment. Do it a couple of times to make sure you get an accurate result. Take the mean result. If it's too high, like 3 times, then it's probably high. They should go see the GP. You know, and this keeps you safe as well when you're doing these things. But the WHO have said the prevention, early detection and effective management of hypertension are among the most cost-effective interventions in healthcare and should be prioritised by countries. Now, increasing physical activity levels and having a little bit of a better diet are probably the easiest ways to help lower your blood pressure. Again, if you're a smoker or you drink too much alcohol, those are really good ways as well. But, you know, the fact that we can actually make an impact here is something we should really be looking at. And no matter what kind of economic background you come from, these little changes can save your life. So that should be looking at the sustainability of what we can do, and as a personal trainer, that's something we can get involved in very, very easily if you're not doing it already. So be part of that saving of the 76 million or not, it's your choice, but I would say it's always an indicator of whether something's going right or wrong if you are seeing the blood pressure settle more into a normal range. Again, after having my blood pressure done after a few weeks, it had settled back into its normal range again. So nothing to be worried about myself. But again, maybe at that point I was just stressed out or whatever. And again, that's something you should really be looking at, speaking to your client about. Okay, so one of the articles that's a bit more fun. I'm sure you have thought about having a workout with a kind of celebrity in the past, or looking at, you know, like actually working out with somebody who's already like doing amazing in their lives. And they done a study, don't know why they did a study of this, but they have done a study, and they looked at who people want to actually go to the gym with. So a survey of UK adults by Savanta has identified the nation's dream workout buddies between celebrities. The nationally represented survey of, and this was only 2,271 adults, found that Scarlett Johansson, Dawn French, Jane Fonda and Joanna Lumley ranked closely behind the leader and the person who came out on top, Margot Robbie. So the Barbie actress, for females that people wanted to work out with. Again, if you don't know who the other people are, it's definitely people to look up. You'd be surprised at some of the people there. I wouldn't have thought Dawn French and Jane Fonda would have been on that list, or Joanna Lumley. All lovely people, great actresses or actors, but not people you would assume straight away with the gym. But anyway, the next one, the male category, that was a little bit different. The Rock was number one, followed by Arnold Schwarzenegger. Then Joe Wicks and David Beckham and Mr. Motivator. So when they looked at that poll, again, the male ones are quite obvious there. Female ones, a little bit different. 8% of those polled chose their own partner or friend as the person they would like to work out with. Again, this was all about workout buddies, this research that they did. The workout buddies chosen were identified by different questions that they gave, which gave them the freedom to name anyone rather than choosing from a list. And the poll was commissioned by UK Active as part of National Fitness Day. So again, they paid for that poll to be done. And Savanta also looked into main motivators for exercise, and it found that mental health was the most popular reason that people now are working out. 54% of the people that they spoke to said that their exercise to help mental health and well-being, and 49% was to get in shape. So obviously they had different factors there. Other motivating factors were things like stress relief, which was 41%, improved confidence, 32% of people, socialising, 16% of people, making new friends, 8% of people. Now, bear in mind that when these kind of statistics come out, they have no bearing on your business. You might not even care that these things were done. But this gives you a little bit of stuff for your social media. This gives you a little bit of information about the type of people who are coming to your gym. Because believe it or not, these are the general kind of audience that go to gyms. Are 54% of people going to get better mental health? Probably. Look at your gym. Most people come in and they feel better after their workouts. People losing weight, again, 49% was to get in shape. So well-being, get in shape, get toned. 49% of people, that's very much believable. I would probably have said that was higher if you gave me a guess. So, yeah, these are all motivating factors, and these are all things that you can factor in when you're doing any of your marketing. So don't think that these things don't actually help you. They really do. And then Hugh Edwards, the guy who is CEO of UK Active, spoke about him earlier. There's a million great reasons for being physically active throughout our lives, and these findings show how much people value social and mental health benefits, as well as the physical impact. So we're on a mission to make the UK the most active nation in Europe. Again, that's going to be hard since we're in dead last place just now. So we're encouraging people of all ages, abilities and backgrounds to commit to being more active. And that's all well and fine. But do you know what? It doesn't mean that it's actually going to happen. What are they actually doing to get that? Last article I'm going to talk about today, and I'll make it a quick one. This is the one that says having a gym membership can make people feel better about themselves even if they don't go. So a recent research study, doesn't say who actually does. The study was conducted by Active Insight, formerly LeisureNet Solutions, in partnership with the HCM Health Club Sleeper. So HCM is basically a company that's out there that does handbooks and does different articles and different reports. and they have got together to have a look at people who have gym memberships. So people can feel real powerful benefits even if they do not step inside the facilities. So when I was a manager, we referred to people who didn't come to the club as sleeper members. People who just, they were members, but they just didn't come, so they were asleep. Now, what it says here is that 16% of them or 16% of people who had memberships said that made them feel good just having a membership. And then 10% more, they get social kudos from being a member of a club. So that could be like if you're a member of like a David Lloyd, and it's again more of a social club than a club that you're going to for fitness. You know, some people will go just for the saunas and for a swim, and that's absolutely fine if that's the way you keep fit. Some people will use that as a social kind of thing. Again, not what we're about as personal trainers or potential personal trainers, but yeah, we have to also understand the people who you might be meeting in the gym. This is said that 16% more said that they kept paying for memberships because they think it will encourage them to be more active at some point in the future. So maybe that works. I don't know. I wouldn't keep a gym membership if I wasn't going. 11% more of the people said that would motivate them to eventually exercise. So that's about 27% of people are saying they're going to keep their membership because they might go in the future. It might encourage them. Nearly 9% agreed with the statement, I feel fitter just by having a membership, which is a little bit delusional in my eyes. Well, 8% agreed that I feel more active just by having the membership. So they feel more active just by getting one. Again, a little bit delusional. 6% agreed that I feel healthier just by having the membership. Again, these are delusions. If you're not actually using your membership, you're not getting any fitter. You're not doing anything about it. The research was conducted in June of this year, and it comes from a national database of 250 people. So not a massive research cohort. 250 people, still a lot of people, but that is massively ridiculous that people are saying they feel fitter just by having a membership. But remember, these are people that need help and support. Understanding them, understanding their point of views, finding the trigger that brings them into the gym. This is what a good personal trainer will be looking to do. Remember, that's why we have social media. We might not always be able to reach everybody in our gym, but maybe we will reach somebody who has a membership and, spots that you are the personal trainer at the gym they have a membership for, and that's the trigger for them to come in and actually work with you. So that would be amazing, and that's why these things are good to know. So they go on in this study to say that they were very keen to see the issue of sleepers, and they are looking into more possibilities to find out about the benefits of what they can do to help these people, or the benefits these people feel even if they didn't use the membership. And they add that rather than being something the industry should be apologetic about, which again, we were a little bit apologetic about sleepers when I was a manager because they're paying money and they're not getting anything. But now we can see that they actually do get something. They actually feel that well-being is better. They've got a better self-identity. And maybe even help their self-esteem and mental health to be able to say they're a member of a gym. And it does give them the opportunity to come to the gym at the end of the day, even if they choose not to go. So it is a weird study. It is something that we are just going to end this podcast on. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on sleepers and what you think of them. You know, is having a gym membership enough, even if you don't go? I don't know personally. I'd also love to hear what you think about the rest of the content we talked about today. It's just a little bit of a roundup of the information that's out there. Again, I don't expect everybody to be talking about these things because it is stuff that's either not really spoken about much or something that may just be over people's heads and they haven't seen it before, or they just miss the articles. I'm lucky enough I've signed up to a few different newsletters that send me different things about the fitness industry. And if you would like to know more about that, again, please drop me a message and I will let you know what they are. Till next time, take care and I will speak to you soon.